Okay. Um, as always, I make videos to put things in perspective until the day I can't. I understand that as my time here continues as a target individual, logic and rationality is being fading away. In my brain, at least, my thoughts are just for them to manipulate. So let me just start with just what we are as target individual. What is a target individual? Target individuals, we are human subjects, and we are human subjects, and these governmental entities, in these agencies, that in the intelligence community are utilizing technology that is extremely sophisticated, and unfortunately they use human subjects to develop this technology. This technology is extremely advanced and sophisticated. Can overlay thoughts in your brain. They can manipulate your ways of thinking, and the way you think, and the way you perceive, and the way you react, and the way your body react to things, and how you think, and how your memories are experienced. It is extremely insane, to even think that that's truly what's happening. I don't know if I would believe it if I wasn't experiencing it, but it is what's happening, and I'm so glad that so many others have talked about this. And I could not imagine me going through this during a time where there was not this kind of validations, and the internet was not available for us target individuals to kind of understand what's happening to us. Even though, of course, uh, it is so easy to fall into this psyop. When you are put in this program, they try to create an ecosystem of a psyop where they try to present a falsified reality for you to believe these BS stories that they try to come up with. And it's like they create an ecosystem where they want you to believe this story and this fantasy that they put together. And in the first place that just doesn't make sense by looking at who's involved, and of course knowing the sophistication and the level of not only sophistication but the funding for one person. You just look at who's trying to present themselves as whatever they're trying to present themselves, the psyop, and you're like, it doesn't even make sense. And the reality is, because it doesn't. They are just trying to portray this psyop, this facade, in order to counter what is really happening. And what's really happening is we are human subjects. And when I say we, the subjects consist of a lot of women and children, not just men. And so you have people involved in this program doing their best to try to vilify you, and you know that these people vilifying you are in a program that can and that will utilize subjects that even are children. And once you put in this program, because this program is not to make somebody better, it's to torment and torture them, because currently it's obvious that the Department of Defense is really behind this in one way or another. So you got to understand, this technology is applied onto us like a weapon, not like a tool to better us. And so bad, horrible things happens to us. We are tortured remotely and other ways, and a technology that is extremely sophisticated, that it's almost science fiction. I would not believe it if I was not a target individual, for sure. I I don't know if I'm open-minded enough to think that this is true. Maybe I will just try not to think about it, or be like, I wouldn't believe it. I'll probably be like, oh, that's probably not true, because I've never been the type of person who think too deeply about these kind of things. I couldn't believe it. Matter of fact, I didn't even believe that human experimentation at the time was happened, where they're trying to control the mind. Maybe I thought that, maybe like vaccine, not even vaccine, but like experimenting for like drugs and things like that on human have happened. But I would never think that, like they were trying to experiment on the human mind, things like that. I never thought that far. I was really just worrying about the everyday things, right? And so never just even thought about this thing, because it's not something I ever looked into until the day this happened to me. And even when it happened to me, I was almost like scared to even search for things like mind control, because I didn't want to look crazy. And as soon as I just find the right terminology, everything that I'm experiencing has been said by others. Everything. Everything. There is not a single thing that's happening to me that hasn't happened to others, regardless of how this technology is being implemented. Everything. At that point, I'm like, okay, well, I was always, now I see what this is about. I was too, what's the word? I was not open enough, in the sense that I was just too conservative in regard of like being open to this level of, I was going like with the grain a little too much. And instead of going against the grain and see things in different ways, I realized, okay, well, it's just so obvious now that everything I'm experiencing today is obviously this technology, and this technology truly is capable to do these things. And not only that, but they've been using these tactics of torment onto so many people. And I couldn't even, like, even when I knew it wasn't me, for example, they do these things that's so disturbing. I was like, even though I know it's not me, I was like, I couldn't imagine that they would like specifically try to do these kind of things. I didn't know that they would literally going with these tactics of breaking people down. And what I'm talking about is what you keep hearing a lot, is the pedophilia type of torture. I know it was not me. I was writing letters like, I'm not myself anymore, I'm not, but I didn't know that they would specifically do the pedophilia type of torture. That they would make a man or a woman have reactions in these disturbing ways, have thoughts in these disturbing ways, falsifying everything, and then use these bottom feeders that are contracted by these governmental entities, just nobodies, that are supposed to go in through their scripts to confuse and disorient somebody. This is systematically done to others. And then you realize, oh my gosh, that's exactly what it is. Wow. And everything from, like I said, this trash that they use, these bottom feeders that the government contract, that are neighbors and whoever that lives around you. All of these people, others say the exact same things. Just repeating their nastiness, try to degrade you, try to make you dehumanize you when they're just trash. Truly. From coming in all shape and form. While you are being manipulated to experience these things, they try to make you accept these things. And then try to find ways to disorient you when you put things in perspective. Now, this technology is extremely sophisticated. They're doing things to my body. Right? Remotely. But if you see who's involved, you know, like, this is just trash. I guess that's why they get these people. And so, you start seeing things for what they are. Yes, the person implementing this is a nobody. But he or she is not the people in charge. They are just the nothings. And it doesn't take a lot of... They don't pick the creme de la creme. This technology must be super sophisticated, super advanced, that it doesn't take geniuses to implement these things. Anybody can, per se, involving themselves in that. But for sure, you know that they are obviously handled by some people. They are managed by certain individuals who obviously oversees these things. These are the just trash. And it also seems that the management and the handling perhaps it's not like just somebody next to them talking to them. It seems like perhaps somebody might be able to manage them remotely. Now, this is when it becomes speculation, but obviously, you see who's involved. You're like, you obviously had nothing. Now, you know what's going to happen to me. You're going to involve in my torment and my torture. You are going to do things to me with technology that is extremely sophisticated, but you are a nothing. That one created psyop that I'm not going to subscribe to. You know, one thing they like to do, they like to try to create this poetic reality that they've put together, when in reality they're the trash. It is poetic, but not the way they want it. They're in a program that is out here frying and killing and tormenting the most vulnerable, torturing them. Women, a lot of women being tortured. And then they would try to be like, oh no, we're doing it for this person. Are we gonna say sorry because I said sorry to somebody? It's like, we're gonna say sorry when we're done. It's like trash. Say sorry to all the women and children that are being tortured and tormented in this program that you're working for. Don't say sorry to me. Don't apologize to me. I'm happy that you do these things, because you're a bottom feeder that's going to get yours. I'm thankful that I'm not living your life. Say sorry for all these women suffering. So some of them doing this thing to me have done this to women, or will be doing this thing to women. Don't apologize to me. And do not try to make yourself seem like you're doing it for this woman that you will fry and destroy if she was put in this program like so many other women. Target individuals, we have to see things for what they are. Yes, this can feel biblical. And I think it is biblical in the sense that we are lucky. Of course, we're not lucky to be suffering. Nobody wants to suffer. But just imagine you living their life. I do not envy that. I don't envy this nasty life that they live. It's disturbing. Whatever, listen, my brain is 24/7 in a loop of just retardation and disturbing manipulations that they've done to me. And they made me think in these ways. But I know this trash. Even though for them, it's like, oh, we're winning because we're going to make you stress. So think about something that we made you experience in these certain ways. And so you might feel good in a second, but you're going to go down again. Then you're going to go up again because they try to bring up anything they manipulate you to experience, or to the stories or the narrations or whatever they do, falsify memories, they can non-stop that they try to bring up and keep you in this loop of just stupidity. And so it's just nasty. They bring up whatever kid they made me see in this disturbing pedophilia ways of just perceiving things. Then they try to have these battles like, no, we matched it, we mapped it, we did this, we make you think the way, remember what you did as a kid, burn for what you did as a kid. You understand, they torture babies and they make you, an adult man, look at children in a sexual way. Try to make you feel stimulations. And be like, no, we mapped it to you. You like, no. You are not only torturing children, but you're making men and women look at and perceive children and react to children in these disturbing ways to try to break you down. And they use these retards that are supposed to make you subscriptive to these things. To try to be like, no, we miss. And go in the same loop. And try to create these mental battles. To try to make you be either subscriptive, which is not going to happen at this point, or at least just disturb you. It's still nasty. It's so nasty. But they like to call it they're mean. You know, this is what mean people do. That's what they say, to kind of agitate you. They would say things to agitate you. For me, what I'm experiencing is also the V2K. So I'm not only a target individual who's getting the gang stalking and every other things. I personally, like many others, are getting what you call V2K synthetic telepathy. this is when you see this technology that's basic, almost magical, that can make you experience so much emotion, reaction, stimulations, thoughts. Maybe that is, and then you hear via V2K, these people who are supposed to agitate you, they don't pick, like, they're not like like they're almost children to me. Like, they sound like children, and they just go through their like little scripts, and it's fun for them in a sense that if you ever felt like you're a loser in your life, if you join in this program, because this technology, there is no way us civilians can combat what is happening to our brain. There's nothing. So these losers, these childlike individuals, they love this because as much as what they do is just obvious manipulations, because this sophistication of technology, I think our brain patterns are connected to some kind of supercomputer that just like within, like, just literally control and manipulate us. And so you have these losers who look at that as like, oh, well, we're laughing because we're winning. It's like, there's no losing in here. You're just a retard that thinks that this losing and winning. I'm just a target individual, and that's that. And there is no strategic needed from you. The technology is gonna basically do everything for you. Don't worry. But they're trying to delude themselves and trying to find success in things that you cannot fail on. Those are what you call this. Those are the perps that you hear via V2K. Now understand why they will contract these bottom feeders, because this gives them a sense of empowerment that they probably never felt before. They say things before I said, but they don't even know what they're gonna do tomorrow at certain like. This is that is pure enjoyment from people who are truly losers. And so, to all my target individuals, you gotta be strong, because these are people who are supposed to agitate you. They are truly losers, and you hear that word used a lot because it's like people who sound even like childlike, and I know some of them enjoy that factor of feeling empowerment when they're just weak low lives. And you obviously know that these bottom feeders are just contracted by the government, by some governmental entities. You know they're nobodies. I've seen them, like, in front of me. I'm looking at it, it's like, oh my gosh, you're pathetic. But I understand. You can tell me everything I'm going to experience before I experience it. Matter of fact, you can do things to me via this technology because you are involved in this program, but you are nothing. You are a bottom feeder. And they tell me our fate, because what happened is everything around you is orchestrated. Everything. Because in this program, as target individual, these governmental entities create a whole ecosystem and create a false reality that you have to deal with 24/7, that is orchestrated. And they contract these bottom feeders that are involved in these orchestrations. And they're like, oh, our feds, they don't know what the F is going to happen to their dumbass, to these retards. But with me, because I'm a target individual, oh, of course, they involve in the orchestrations. And they talk about how, oh, you're going to be laughing, you're going to be screaming, you're going to be crying, you're going to be doing this and that. It's our fate. Trust you, it's not your fate. It's this program's fate. This governmental entity is just the bottom feeder who sold your fate to these pedophiles. Trash. For me, I'd rather die slow. This is the words I'd rather use before I die. But target individuals see it for what it is. We are human subjects. When you see these childlike individuals telling you things about what you're going to experience, please look at them. Ask yourself, can they tell anything about themselves, about their fate? No, look, they are fragile. Extreme, for me at least, target individual. I know psyops can differ from targets. For me, the fragility I see in them is just unbelievable. The fragility you see in them is just something you don't like. It's just seeing people who can break down if they spill, if they break their glasses or something falls, and you're like, oh, look at you feeling so empowered. That's why it feels biblical that you will see the weakest do the foulest evilness because of their weakness. And they will do these distortions, disorientation, and deceptions non-stop, which is, if you Google anything like that, it sounds like this, like the tactic that Satan have utilized, but this is not that. Target individual, yes, this is biblical in the sense that you could have been them. They live a gimmicky life that's going to end. They will die. They forget that part. They block that part out. Some have died. They were making fun of somebody who killed himself while he was involved in my targeting. And they would tell me, they're going to push me to kill myself. And they were using his name. We're going to do you're going to be this guy. He was with them. He was involved in the targeting just like me. He was saying things. The last time he said something to me, he's like, oh, awkward. He ended up killing himself. He was with them. And they're saying that what he did, I'm going to do that to myself. But it's not the same. If this happens to me, if I do this, it's because I was killed. No, not because I couldn't stand myself. This man killed himself while doing what they do. And when I see them, oh my gosh, I can see that happen to them all the time. I see the weakness about them. Very fragile. And they try to be like childlike and try to agitate me. It's like, oh wow, you agitating me. You look so mentally strong. You you for sure don't have like suicidal thoughts. You see them, it's like, it will take 2 seconds. Shit. Matter of fact, I can see you. You probably cried within the last 2 months. No, nothing was wrong with you physically, but you cried for some reason the last 2 months. Or even the last 3 weeks. Am I lying? They are fragile trash. So, for me, as they do these pedophilia things to me, they torment me, they do this nastiness, I'm like, listen, I have to remember, and on my phone shows who's involved. On my phone, I have a picture, my background of the person responsible for me being in this program. I see his picture, and I'm like, this is why I'm dying. This is why this is happening to me. This is why I'm listening to these bottom feeders who can kill themselves in that, like that, but will push me to my suicide because of this man on my phone. This man is the reason why I'm getting these disturbing manipulations. He put me in this program where they do these things to people. This guy. This is the reason why I'm getting these forced stimulations, these disturbing dreams, this is why. He put me in the same program that use human subjects in these disturbing pedophilia ways. In my brain, they try to battle this and try to bring up my coworkers who were involved in this and try to say, remember what she saw, that she's a poor baby. Trash. These bottom feeders were involved, trashy, this disturbing. And the thing they try to do to counter reality, the psyop is so crazy. This person who I see on my phone, he worked for this government, this company, extremely conservative. He himself, let's just say he's not the face of diversity. He's not. Matter of fact, I'd strongly know that the reason why I was put in this program is he saw me thinking, oh, I don't want him in this company, but he might be trouble because if we let him go, he could be saying that we did this because of his race. When in reality, what can I have done? So he put me in this program, and that was it. And so they're trying now to make me believe that, oh, you see your coworker, you see what they saw. I was like, what this? They saw what you did as a child. And they talk about me in middle school. And I remember this creepy person who looked like, I think he was somebody in the intelligence community. I'm not sure. But he said something disturbing. He's like, oh, were you a good Catholic boy? He said something like that in the airplane. Anyways, try to bring up something I did as a child in middle school. And also, they put me in the program where they torture babies. Stupid. Trash. This person that said poor baby was trying to make me see her, look at her. So disturbing. I mean, but that's the way they want me to think. This racist piece of shit will never make me subscribe to these nasty manipulations. And this trash that put me in a program where they kill and torture children. This kind of bottom feeders, when especially you have a child, knowing that they torture children as young as your children, even way younger, because I think her children were like in middle school. Her youngest children. People younger than her children being tortured by this program. It's so nasty. But don't ever make me think that this person, let's just say I call her Amy, can make me this nasty lowlife. If I'd seen her in person now, I would curse her out. This racist piece of shit that was trying to make me look at her cleavage to try to create this target individual. Sorry, I don't want to bring that personal things. But they then try to find ways to vilify you when they're in this program that does these horrible things and try to make you accept the persona that you're not. And then try to make you feel guilty about things that's in comparison to what they've involved. It's not even like feasible. You don't even want to it's just nonsensical. They are killing babies. They torture these kids, 3-week-old babies, and they talk about a child, which is me at the time, doing something stupid. From a child doing something stupid, while they torturing children. And then they contract children like individuals and think, oh, that makes sense. Do you think I think this 14-year-old next door is in charge of this? You think this little 14-year-old does? This is a bottom feeder. She's a nobody. She will be doing this thing to a 2-year-old. Sitting in her PJs. Target individuals. For me, it's just disturbing. And the way they've tried to make me accept this persona. They can't even say a pedophile's name called Roy Moore. They'll try to bring up whatever they can to make me accept this false persona. Because today, anybody who's a child, who looks like a child, who could be a child, I will get forced stimulation because of this technology. From the little babies to the older kids. The extreme is the babies, the less extreme is the older kids. It's so nasty. But they sold their soul to entities filled with pedophiles because guess who have problem with pedophilia? The intelligence community. Based on this article from BuzzFeed, not this conspiracy theory magazine, but BuzzFeeder, right? The mainstream company, the mainstream article magazine comes out with this article calling out the patterns of pedophilia in these agencies, calling out CIA first, but saying that this is everywhere, and then they have documents that they requested via the FOIA thing where they provided them information, and this document coming from this intelligence community, from the Department of Defense, just calling out all these nasty things that they caught their employee doing. A bunch of pedophiles throughout all these agencies. That's the real world. They have to distort reality because this is reality that have been humiliated. Target individual, do not subscribe. This one thing is for sure. Listen, as target individual, we're civilians against a governmental entity that is the most powerful governmental entity in the world, the most powerful entity in the world. Yes, these people that you see in front of you or making this noise campaign, they're nothings. Do not see them and think that they are just the tools, the trash the government uses. We have nothing. There's nothing we can really do against that, really. And so, do not think that this is a competition. There's none of that. You can never. You are a civilian against governmental entity using the most sophisticated technology on you. They can destroy your organs like that if they wanted to. It's funny when men try to create this like, oh, we're gonna frame you, which as I hear this childlike individuals try to make me subscriptive to this thing. I hear this childlike individual who says that they're gonna do these things, which I believe. I do believe they could do. They can easily frame me. They have no self-respect. But you know, people doing these things, life doesn't come good to them. They're these coward lowlifes. Cowards. When me disciples try to present themselves as this femme fatale group of women and whatever, it's like you came and speak about a pedophile that picked up kids, but you're here showing me your 7-year-old kid to get this disturbing manipulation that this technology can do. Trash. Listen, I am just so thankful that my life didn't consist of doing what they do. If I was be next to a 13-year-old kid who does what I'm supposed to be doing, I know something went wrong in my life. If a child can be like, and you hear the child saying some nasty things to try to create this